Over the past 2 decades, China has transformed its infrastructure sector into a global powerhouse. From African railways to Southeast Asian highways, Chinese companies are now behind projects across continents. But ports are where this strategy goes the furthest. Today, China is involved in more than 120 overseas ports. Some are run under leases lasting nearly a century. Others are directly built and managed by Chinese state-owned firms. Together, these ports handle close to 30% of global container traffic, more than double the volume managed by all U.S. ports combined. Since 95% of China's trade moves by sea, ports aren't just supply chain links, they are a strategic necessity. Many of these projects fall under the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, launched in 2013. Its maritime Silk Road stretches from Southeast Asia to Europe, Africa, and Latin America. The aim isn't just efficiency, it's to shape the very structure of global trade, securing Chinese footholds in critical locations. Some of these ports are so large and strategically placed that they've raised concerns in Washington, Brussels, New Delhi, and elsewhere. Let's look at 10 of the most significant Chinese-linked megaports. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way. 1. Shanxi, Peru, just north of Lima, a $1.3 billion deep-water port, is transforming a quiet fishing town into a Pacific trade hub. Led by COSCO Shipping Ports, which holds a 60% stake, Shanxi is China's biggest foothold in Latin America and its first major Pacific-side project in the Americas. Once complete, it will host some of the world's largest ships and connect via rail to Brazil, creating a direct South America-China trade route. Officials call it a gateway to South America, with Xi Jinping personally endorsing the project. But U.S. commanders warn it could have dual commercial and military purposes. 2. Lekki, Nigeria. On Africa's Atlantic coast, just outside Lagos, sits Nigeria's first deep-sea port, opened in 2023. Built and partly financed by China Harbor Engineering Company, Chinese firms own 54% and run operations under a 15-year exclusive lease. Nigeria accepted the terms because its old ports were overcrowded and shallow. Lekki can handle 2.7 million containers a year and anchors a larger free trade zone. For Nigeria, it's a chance to modernize. For China, it's access to oil and minerals and long-term influence in West Africa. 3. Khalifa Port, United Arab Emirates, less than 80 kilometers from a major U.S. base, COSCO opened a $400 million container terminal in Abu Dhabi's Khalifa Port in 2018. The Chinese firm has a 35-year operating concession here, making it one of its largest overseas projects. Strategically placed on shipping routes linking China to the Red Sea and Mediterranean, the port sparked U.S. concern over possible surveillance. Despite pressure, the terminal remains fully operational, an example of how China operates even inside US-4, Kyaukphyu, Myanmar. On Myanmar's western coast, CITIC Group is developing the Kyaukphyu port, giving China direct access to the Indian Ocean and bypassing the Malacca Strait, a major choke point. Linked to pipelines that already pump oil and gas into China's Yunnan province, the project reduces Beijing's dependence on vulnerable sea routes. Scaled back from its original $7.3 billion plan, the port still faces local resistance over land seizures and environmental impacts. But once completed, it will become a vital energy security lifeline for China. 5 and 6. Mombasa and Lamu, Kenya. China has invested heavily in Kenya's 2 main ports. Mombasa, East Africa's busiest port, was expanded with Chinese loans and construction, though debt concerns linger. Lamu, opened in 2021, was built almost entirely by Chinese firms as part of the Lapset Corridor, linking Kenya with Ethiopia and South Sudan. Together, they anchor China's Indian Ocean presence, while leaving Kenya burdened with billions in debt. 7. Hambantota, Sri Lanka. Perhaps the most controversial example is Hambantota Port, built with Chinese loans but underused. By 2017, Sri Lanka, drowning in debt, leased it to China Merchants Port Holdings for 99 years, giving the company a 70% stake. Critics call it a case of debt trap diplomacy, though Beijing denies this. While still underutilized, Hambantota highlights how financial distress can lead to long-term Chinese control of strategic assets. 8. Gwadar, Pakistan. A centerpiece of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, Gwadar provides direct access to the Arabian Sea, bypassing Malacca. In 2015, Pakistan granted China a 40-year lease, with Beijing's operator keeping 91% of revenue. Critics inside Pakistan question the deal, but the port is tied to highways, energy plants, and free trade zones funded by Chinese banks. Beyond trade, speculation lingers that Gwadar could one day serve naval purposes. 9. Piraeus, Greece. One of China's most visible wins in Europe is Piraeus port near Athens. After Greece's debt crisis, COSCO acquired a controlling 67% stake. Since then, container traffic has tripled, and the port has become a major transshipment hub for Chinese goods entering Europe. While Greece welcomed the jobs and revenue, EU officials worry about foreign control of critical infrastructure. Nevertheless, Piraeus is now a cornerstone of China's maritime Silk Road in Europe. 10. Djibouti. At the mouth of the Red Sea, Durale Port in Djibouti may be China's most strategic asset. Built with Chinese financing, it sits next to China's first overseas military base, opened in 2017. Officially called a logistics hub, the base includes facilities for warships, troops, and aircraft, and it lies just miles from a major U.S. base. Roughly 10% of global trade passes through these waters, making Djibouti critical to China's trade and military strategy. Conclusion. From Latin America to Africa, the Middle East to Europe, China's port network reflects a long-term strategy, controlling how goods move, shaping supply chains, and gaining leverage far beyond trade. Some projects are purely commercial, others raise questions about debt, sovereignty, and military use. The global map of port ownership looks very different than it did 20 years ago, and China's role is impossible to ignore. Whether this is simply a push for more efficient trade routes or the foundation of greater geopolitical ambitions remains one of the defining debates of our time. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more updates and content. We've got plenty more coming your way.